Hey, how you guys doing? Hopefully you had a good day in the markets. Just want to make a quick video to go over two really nice trades I took today. First one was on AMRN. So the reason I want to show you this trade is because of the setup on the daily. So if you look back here on AMRN, the daily down here, you'll see that it had gapped up. I forget the reason why. If some sort of news, it wasn't earnings. I think it was some news. But as you can see here on the follow-up days after that initial push, there was a bunch of top wicks, top wick, top wick. It was holding underneath 24. It did not want to push underneath 24. I had tried trading this earlier in previous days, but it was kind of chopped cities. You see here on the 15-minute chart, the multi-day 15-minute chart, it was kind of sideways and choppy. It gave you some moves like right here, but I wasn't really able to capture those very well. So I've been, of course, I've been keeping it on my watch list because this was a super nice rounding formation right here. No, I'm not a multi-day swing trader. It's something I want to try doing. This is something that would definitely make a good swing short type of setup, given all these rejections off of 24 and top wicks. But that's just not in my wheelhouse yet. So today I went into it on one of my charts, and I saw it just kind of flush down initially right out the open. Let me go ahead and zoom in here on the 1 minute chart so you kind of see what I was looking at. I was actually late to the trade. I was actually late to my screens. I actually overslept a little bit, but I came online pretty much like 3 or 4 minutes into the market, and I saw AMRN was going down. And the other reason why it had caught my interest, aside from like the daily setup I was talking about before, is that as it was flushing down in the morning, it was going to come down below this little pivot area, these pivot lows from 2 days ago, 1 day ago, yesterday, all these pivot lows. That's a huge area of support. So when I came into the market this morning and I'm 5 minutes into it, that level's at 22.75, right? When I opened up my screens and I came into the markets, that's where that level was at, right? So seeing that, I was like, fuck it. So I went and I took it short for what could have been considered a 5 minute opening range breakdown, but I don't normally trade 5 minutes. I normally stare at the 1 minute charts pretty well. So the 1 minute chart I was quote unquote chasing, but because of this little pivot I had talked about up here on the 15-minute chart, I was fairly confident it was going to keep going down. And but what I did though was I kept a tight leash on it, right? So it went down, I took some profits. I saw it was starting to creep back up, so I was afraid since I was late entering to it, it was going to do a bounce back up to VWAP. So I just covered my complete position there. And then as it was going back up to VWAP, it was pretty heavy on the tape. It wasn't a very strong pushback. So I was keen to get back into it short, right? So it might be a little bit stupid, but I was a little bit more confident to it. So I actually got back in near my original entry price right there. And then I had a total absolute plan. When I said this, I'm like, this is early. It's not a VWAP yet. So I got in here with the full intention of adding as it got up to VWAP. So once it got up to VWAP, I added some more, right? And thankfully, knock on wood, it worked out perfectly, right? Did a nice heavy bounce back up to VWAP and immediately rejected and then just rolled back down lower. And so here I was just covering into, there's no real levels for me to cover into. So I was just doing whatever felt comfortable. I did the previous pivot low, and then I just started covering as it flushed, right? So there's little chunks, first like quarters of my position, and then to like tenths of the remaining position, and or tenths of that position, and that's it. I just kept covering and covering, just feeling out the tape, feeling how it would flush and bounce. And then eventually I got a sense that the bounces were over, right? Came back up here and reclaimed. And I had a very strong feeling that was it. And I turned out to be right. And it is from there, just bounced back up to VWAP and continued to go sideways from there. So this was a beautiful trade. But again, the key takeaway from this is knowing your levels, right? Because this pivot up here on the 15-minute chart was a very important one. And the daily setup was also another big takeaway from this one, as you can see from the top wicks and the rejection and this strong sell-off rollover from all these people who were stuck long and not able to get the big push, and so they were just getting dumped into. So that's the key takeaway from this chart. Next trade I want to go over was KPTI. So let me just go ahead and zoom in and set this chart up for us. So KPTI, let's see here. KPTI is a stock I had on watch from previous days as well. You see here it had this big push up again on news, not earnings, some sort of news. I believe this is a biopharm stock, and so there's some crazy thing about FDA approval and such. So big push up, and then on the next follow-up day, I had this other big gap up, and then immediately flush down. Made some money on this day, riding this down. But I wasn't done with the stock. Always keep these kind of stocks on your watch list, on your calendar, on your other charts, because they'll often have continuations. And when things kind of fall off everybody else's radar, you know, the second, third, fourth day moves, oftentimes those will give you beautiful, clean setups. So after the hype's over on the first day or two, keep them on your watch list because they will give you some beautiful moves. And this one did today. So I entered to this trade later on a VWAP rejection, on a failure of VWAP. So as you can see here early in the morning, I did a nice sell-off right here. Let's look at the 1 minute. It did a nice sell-off and then bounced back up above VWAP, but it failed, right? It tried its best to do a push, right? But it came back down. And then here, as it broke down below VWAP, I was watching it. And sorry, let me zoom in here really quick so you guys can see better. I hate when I'm looking at other people's videos and you can't see. So as you see here, it came back down. It pushed back above VWAP, but it failed its push, came back down below VWAP. Again, I'm just still watching it, still trying to get a feel for it. It did this very soft, slow, pathetic little kind of bounce back push, trying to go again. And as it came back down, this is a pretty hard red candle right here when it first broke back down. And that's why I decided to take a short. And so taking that short there, I was pretty confident in it. Again, my stop would have been, my stop was here above this little pivot high. And that was a nice tight stop. Even if it went against me, I wasn't going to lose anything, right? So I just kept an eye on it, and it was weak, right? I mean, it just continued this sell-off from these previous days, and I just held it, and I just kind of covered into the flushes and to the washes. Right here, this was a regrettable cover because I did a double cover because I don't know, the way it was acting right here, it was very kind of poppy. Even though it was popping a couple pennies, a couple cents, it was very poppy, and I was afraid it was going to surge back up. It's my nerves getting the better of me. I got to get a better handle on that. But again, I just kind of covered into the washes, flush, cover, flush, cover, flush, cover. I didn't have a cover down here because this flush was instant. It went bam and immediately came back up within like, I don't know, 20 seconds. But I was holding. I didn't want to cover because I was still hoping for a bigger flush down lower. But I should have also known because I'm not big on Fibonacci's, but that flush, this candle low right here, I'm sorry, let me delete this. This candle low right here, that bottom wick, marked like pretty much a 50% retracement on this big surge up, right? So these kind of retracements, the 50%, the 25%, those are, if anything, just big psychological numbers and zones and areas. So in regions to keep focus on, right? So when that candle wick went down, that was a 50% retracement up here of this big candle push. So that should have been an area I should have had a limit order to take advantage of. But I didn't. I held a little longer, did another flush down. But then I sensed that it wasn't going to go down anymore, just reading the tape and just the price action. So I took a cover right there. And I just set a stop for the rest of my shares up here, and it came back up and stopped me out. And then as you can see here on the 5 minute, it went back up to the VWAP and then just did nothing the rest of the day and just chopped sideways. So those were my two big trades on the day. Again, the key takeaways are these were third and fourth day plays. I think the other one's even a fifth day play, right? Keep these things on your watch list. Keep these things on your charts because they will give you beautiful, clean, easy moves on the days when nobody's paying attention to them anymore. So that's it for me today, you guys. Hopefully you had a good day trading. I'll see you guys in the markets tomorrow, and good luck. Later.